wetsuit on, I'm going to fold the top half over, give you an opening, and you're going to say, holy crap, how am I going to fit into that, right? It's stretchy, don't worry. So then you're going to start putting it on, and I recommend, for everybody with long nails, cut them short and file them down, so your nails will rip straight through the neoprene. I can show you my wetsuit scars. The scars on the wetsuit.
But the other thing is to try and grab the neoprene like this, not like this. Even as a guy, I don't really have that great nails. Like you can put holes. I've seen guys put holes in the wetsuit just from if you catch a little bit. They are pretty tough on the hole. They should definitely pretty thick neoprene, but it's just something to be aware of.
See here, that's from pulling up with a nail. Super glue I found, because this is my own wetsuit. If you're renting, don't super glue it back together.
When you're bike rack does rent wetsuits.
Yeah.
But I encourage you, if you think you're going to have to rent, and even if it's still unclear if you have to wear one, you should probably make a reservation. Because last year, for Nations, in September, we thought it was going to be too hot, and I didn't own a wetsuit, and so I wasn't worried about it. And then 2 days before the race, they said it was wetsuit legal. And I was like the only person in town that didn't make a reservation. So I called every single place, like 15 places, and everybody was booked. So don't make that mistake. I think you're going to have one.
And the bike rack does rent wetsuits.
Also, I want to add that Xterra is one of the sponsors for the BC Tri, and there's a coupon on the BC Tri website that you can get, I think it's 50% off.
Xterra has a great deal on the product. It's actually really sweet and wetsuit. So after you get it all in, and you're just like sucked in like all
Before we get there,
hold on.
So when you're trying to get the wetsuit on, starting at the bottom, make sure you get everything as high up as you can in order to get the rest of it on. So starting at the angle down here, make sure it's pulled up plenty high, work it up plenty high on the knees so you can get it worked up into the thighs. If you leave it low and saggy here, you're not going to be able to get your shoulders in it.
Creates a vacuum and you're instant.
When you're putting the wetsuit on, especially when you're getting the legs set, get it as high as possible. It will look awkward, it will feel uncomfortable. Everybody does the wetsuit squats to really get sunk into it. Everybody's doing it, it's totally fine. You won't be the only one looking like a fool, but the higher you get it here, and the tighter you get it here, the easier it will be to get it on your upper body, onto your shoulders, and then to have space in your shoulders to move and swim. So you want to, if it's really, really tight on the shoulders, even if it's on and zipped, you're going to feel kind of compressed and pulled down, and then your swim stroke's going to be really small. You're going to want to pull it up so that you can actually get that shoulder up as you swim and go through that motion. So the more effort you put in on the lower legs to get everything pulled up high, the more space you will have up here.
For zipping it, you're going to have a neighbor, you're going to have somebody there to help you. But if for some reason you're running late out of the porta potty and you can't get there, hold the base of the zipper and pull up. And that way it'll get all snug. And then take this little tail, just stick it in your Velcro here. So it creates a little loop. And that way it won't come around your neck while you're swimming and choke you. While Mike finishes getting his wetsuit on, I'll start showing you how to take it off. So when you're coming out of the water, the first thing you want to do, and this is just my personal preference, but I noticed from early triathlons that I would come out of the water and I would take the swim cap off as I was running up out of the water, thus leaving my hair looking like this. And in the photographs, it's just not becoming. So I found it was easier for me to leave the swim cap on until I got into transition, past the photographers, thus giving me much better looking photographs. And a little bit quicker. But as you come out, if you want, you can take your swim cap off for guys like Mike who don't have hair troubles. And what I do is I take my goggles off my face, I stick them in the swim cap, and I just roll it all up into one little bundle. It's like a little pouch for my goggles. Now I have this in my hand. But if you come out of the water, it's after. Let me back up a little bit. Come out of the water. You still have your goggles on top of your head, you have your swim cap on. You're going to just reach back with your hand, grab this little strap, pull it. You got this one in this hand. You're going to let that go. You're going to reach as you're running, reach back, find your pull tab. Hold your neck, pull down. That'll release your zipper. As you're running, what Xterra actually recommends is to take a deep breath, because coming out of the water, you're going to feel a little woozy. So take a deep breath. As you exhale, as you're grabbing your opposite shoulder, pull this arm out. Repeat. Deep breath, exhale. And now you have it down by your waist. This is all you're doing. Now you can focus on taking your swim cap off because you're past the photographers. It looks really cool when you're stripping your suit off in an action shot.
And that's why they all put the logos right here, so you can
Now
actually see it.
I'm here. I'm running. I've got my swim cap on. My hair is good. My goggles are up here. So now I take this off. I'm running into transition. I'm looking for my rack. I see my bike. I start approaching. Even then, I'm just going to start. Put my thumbs here. I'm going to push down. I'm going to keep going down as far as I can get it. Because now, my technique, and some people step on it, I take it and just try to get it off in one go. It'll get stuck. So it's usually going to take about 2 for each leg to get it off. And it gets stuck on the ankle. Now, when I get it off, it's all well and great that I'm standing here with my bike and all this other stuff. You can't just take it and throw it out in the middle of the road. So what you're going to do is you're going to have space back here behind all of your other equipment, your run stuff and everything. Just kind of bundle it up and throw it back there so people won't step on it. The amount of money you're going to spend on a wetsuit, $150, $300, it's worth it to keep it not being stepped on by somebody's really sharp bike shoes. So,
If you have long sleeve, from the goggles and swim cap standpoint, you can actually leave the goggles and swim cap in the sleeve as you take it off. So one best practice, just as a ex-swimmer, put the goggles on first and the swim cap on top. Not so much for anything related to transitions, but because the combat swims of these things get a little dicey sometimes. I have been hit in the face, had the goggles kind of knocked sideways. If they are held down by your swim cap, they're not going to go very far. Yes, they're going to fill with water, but they're not going to go very far. You're not going to lose them, and it's pretty quick to just kind of get them reset. So some people do that, some people don't. Totally personal preference, just a recommendation. But as you're coming out of the water, especially if you've got the sleeve swimsuit on, I go ahead and come out. I don't have the hair trouble, so I go ahead and pull everything off. Get the nice picture so you can actually see it's me. And then, still with this, you reach back here, open up the strap in the back. You can grab a pull tab and open it up. And then same thing, just coming across on an exhale so that you're kind of collapsing your chest, getting a little small in the suit. Grab the shoulder, pull it down. Don't try and work the arm out this way. Just give it the old yank and turn the arm inside out. And as you turn it inside out, I've got my goggles and stuff. I release them in the sleeve. And now they're here. They're not going anywhere. They will not fall out. I've tried, done this for a couple of years of racing. I haven't lost a pair yet. Do the one side, do the other. Body glide. Same thing, show off my logos, run into transition, come up as I'm finding my bike. I'm already starting to cool off and shed the water because I pulled this down, but I'm still mobile. Get to the bike. Again, hook the thumbs.
if you're wearing a two-piece suit, hook your wetsuit only.
Right, that's what I
I've seen people running and go,
Wetsuit only, making sure to leave the shorts where they are. They do put the elastic bands in your shorts for a reason. And yeah, just get there, push it down, try and get as much as you can in the first go. And then same thing like she was saying, hook thumbs again. The feet is a lot harder to do that arm thing where you can just kind of suck it out. So hook the thumbs in and be pushing it down. Same thing here, I can go 2, and if I have body glide, it's be easier. Get it over your ankle. For the ankle itself, I'll even slide my hands all the way in so I can really space the wetsuit out.
and when the wetsuit is wet, it'll come off a lot easier than when it's dry.
Yeah.
You talk about you have a sleeveless and he has sleeves. What?
Personal preference, I get hot, very hot when I swim, so I want something to make me feel like I can cool down.
It's preference, and it's also, to some degree, a water temperature question. That's getting into the point where you have multiple wetsuits and options and things, but ultimately, like what they were getting at was and you can think about what kind of temperature races you're doing on a consistent basis when you buy. If you're frequently swimming in relatively cold water, the full sleeve wetsuit is going to probably be the way to go. If you're swimming in more that mid-range temperature, then the sleeveless makes a little more sense.
And I like the full mobility it gives my arms, because I felt like if I had the sleeves on, I wouldn't be able to get my full reach. So during the swim, you're going to be using your arms mainly, because you need those legs for biking and running. So as you're coming in from the swim, your legs are just kind of using for balance so you don't totally tip over. As you're coming in towards the last turn buoy, up onto the ramp, there's going to be an exit ramp, literally like they're herding cattle up out of the water. But just swim up to that. Start kicking your legs to get the blood flowing, because they will feel kind of crazy. When you get on the ramp, you're going to climb out of the water. You'll feel this really great sensation of water just completely cascading down inside the wetsuit, between the wetsuit and your skin. It'll feel really funny. Take a couple deep breaths, because you're going to feel really woozy because you've been swimming for however long. So take a couple deep breaths and then proceed quickly towards the transition, because there's going to be a little chute and they're going to refer you up through all the screaming spectators. You get to smile. You're not going to be able to see anybody you recognize because your brain just won't be working that way.
So you keep in mind that you want to move as fast as you are able.
Right.
If
Doesn't
you're
mean come out of the
feeling,
water and sprint. It's
if
fast
you're
as
feeling
you can.
a little lightheaded coming out of the water, take it easy. As you come out of the water, stand up slowly. Don't think you can just, go from half an hour horizontal to pop right up and I'm good. I mean, it's like anybody. If you stood up way too quickly and there's the blood rush, same effect, only the blood is already in your chest and arms anyway, so there's not that much in your head to begin with. So just take it easy as you stand up and ease yourself into comfortable pace. The last thing you want to do is make yourself pass out coming out of the water if you stood up too quick. But also be trying to keep moving quickly.
And as you're moving, you're going to be trying to get your wetsuit off. And you don't have to take your wetsuit off as you're running in transition. If you're not comfortable doing that, you can wait until you get to your bike. Just know that you're going to lose a couple of seconds where you could have had it already halfway off. But once you start, let's just say you're coming out of the water, you're taking your deep breaths, you're starting a light jog towards transition, and you're going to start remembering, oh my God, where was I? Rack 36. Okay, I have to go down to 36, turn left, and go 4 paces, and my bike will be there on the left. And just keep thinking about that. And as you're running in, just keep thinking, okay, what's next? Okay, I have to take this wetsuit off. I have to put that there, and then I'm going to get my bike shoes on, get my helmet, clip it, glasses on, get my bike, and I'm going to head out to the bike out. And as you're getting your bike steps on,
let me interrupt there. Even as she's talking through that, you hear how she's getting a little faster, and her breathing's getting a little tight, and she's getting just a little bit excited. Yeah. And you're going to be the same way coming out of the water. And transitions are the fastest paced piece of the entire triathlon. And so I really want to emphasize for you to be aware of that and to control that. So if you catch yourself and you come out of the water, you just had a good swim, you just had a bad swim, you just had whatever swim you had, and you're trying to switch it up, and you're trying to find your spot, and you're trying to get, all of a sudden, you're really stressed, you're really amped.
Like we did at the very beginning.
Yeah. You're not going to think as clearly, you're actually going to take more time, and you're going to wear yourself out because you've got your heart rate up, you've got your breathing really, really shallow. Try and really think about what they used to tell us in basic training: slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Think about what you're doing, think about where you got to go, just focus on those pieces and focus on keeping yourself calm through those pieces. And the calmer you are as you go through those pieces, the better you will execute those pieces, and the faster you will do it all.
You can come out of the water and say, I know what I'm going to do. Even though your mind's going, let's choose that. You're just going to know. You're going to fall into this step. Just kind of like the first responders do when somebody's choking. They just go in and they start doing their steps.